Ouais, j'y vais. A few years ago, two friends and I were in need of a nomadic tent. Renting one was super expensive, so we decided to buy one and to rent it to other people to cover the cost. So just like that, our new business was born. I was new at Odoo back then, and I told my friends with a lot of confidence that I would build an amazing Odoo e-commerce. So that's what I did. But the result was not that good, to be honest. It was not up to my expectations. And the reason is that the conclusion is that I would have needed a few more guidelines. Odoo is a great tool to build a website, but you need to know where you are going, and you need to make the right decisions. So that's what I will provide today. By the end of my presentations, you will have more tools to make the right decisions when creating an Odoo e-commerce. So to create a website, there are three main pillars. The data and the configuration. So of course, you'll need some products, you'll need some payment providers, you'll need some delivery method. Also the design. A well-designed website isn't just about aesthetics, it's about building trust and turning visitors into customers. And then finally, the SEO that some companies, the small companies, tend to forget is really important too. So basically, it's to optimize your traffic. So having a really good website with a really good design with no traffic on it is just like building a billboard in the middle of the desert. It's not really useful. So we'll see how to increase the traffic. So enough talking. Let's go and see what we can improve in the website I created a few years ago. Oh, that's right. Let's not do the mistake I made a few years ago. It's really tempting when you create a website to just drag and drop and start with the content directly. But this is my first really big tip to you, is to be prepared before starting. So what do I mean by that? Well, you have to know your brand identity because it will be key to be consistent in terms of imagery, in terms of tones, in terms of font, etc., etc. Also, you need to know your audience because, for instance, if you have a B2B website, you will focus maybe on a portal access, on preferential prices for some customers, while in a B2C website, you want your customers to be able to buy as quickly as possible. So it will not be built the same way. Then the structure. In terms of design, you have to know upfront the structure that you will have. You need to know which pages you will create, which menus, etc., to avoid going in all directions. But also in terms of product, in terms of data. So your product catalog has to be ready, it has to be clear and logical for your customers. So moving to an Odoo website is an opportunity for you to clean your product catalog. Then, of course, you need good pictures, notably to highlight your products. And you need to know, really important one, if you will need one or more websites. Because it happens that we start by creating one website, and then we are blocked technically because we need to do something that's not possible in one website, and we realize that we need to split it in 2 or 3 websites. So how do I know if I need more than one website? Well, basically, if one of these statements is true, you might need to consider creating more than one website. So if you're selling, I don't know, consulting services and underwear, unless you have a really good reason, I would advise you to split the website in 2. Then for the target, it's the same. Like I said, a B2B and a B2C website will not be built the same way, notably because the tax display will be different. Then the shipping methods. You can adapt the shipping method based on your customer localization, but not based on his profile. So if you want different shipping methods for different types of customer, again, you'll have to create more than one website. And the same reasoning applies to payment providers and checkout processes. Note that from the V18, you can now assign shipping method to some products using tags. So, okay. Let's go. I'm ready now, so let's go into my database and the website I created and see what we can improve. So I'll start with the data. Via the website application, I have a menu for the products, and I will dive into my main product, the tent. I will go directly to the Sales tab because this is where I have all the e-commerce related information. I had added already my brazier and my Festoon light as optional and accessory products, so that those products will be proposed to my customers when adding my tent to the cart or when doing the checkout. I could also add them as alternative product so that they will be displayed at the bottom of my page. Also, I didn't use categories because I don't have enough products. I have only 3. But I would advise to use categories, of course, if you have more products, because it will improve the navigation of your customers. I do not want to continue selling if I'm out of stock, because I couldn't handle it. But I do want to motivate my customers to buy my product if my stock is low. I had added already a sales description. So just for you to know, this will appear on the quotations, on the invoice, and on the product page of your website. But also, I spend a lot of time replying to some questions, always the same questions about a technical aspect of my tent. What is the size of my tent? What is the capacity for people standing, for people sitting? So in order to stop doing that, to stop losing time with that, I will just upload a PDF document that I will show on quote, so it will appear on the quotations and on the product page of my website. And of course, I will publish it. So if I go now to my product page, I see that my PDF document is downloadable. I see my alternative products at the bottom of my page. And also, I see that I can get notified, because I don't have stock at the moment. My customers can get notified when I have stock again. So that was a question from the talk before. So I just have to click, enter my email, and I can get notified once I have stock again. So okay, that's it for my products. Now let's jump into the configurations. So yeah, once your website will be ready, you can add a domain here. So there is really good documentation about that on the Odoo documentation that explains you how to add a domain if you have your own domain or if you used the one offered by Odoo for the first year. So do not forget that step, of course. Then I will just focus on the configuration that I'm interested in, because there are many configurations and they are quite self-explanatory. So here, like I said, I just want my customers to be able to buy as quickly as possible. So I'll give them the option to check the review order step. Then I'm in B2C, so I want my prices to be tax included. And a really good time saver is to activate this configuration that will generate, confirm, and send invoices to the customers if my payment is confirmed. Okay, so that's good. I've got my data, my products ready, my configurations. Now let's go and enable my customers to pay. So here, via the configuration menu, I can open all my payment providers. So what do I do now? I have many options, so which one do I choose? Of course, it will depend on the commission rate, maybe on the country, but also on many features. So that's what we will talk about. Here we have a table from the Odoo documentation again, comparing all the different payment providers. So as we can see, some allow you to stay on the Odoo website when doing the payment, while some others redirect you to the provider's website, which is a bit less good in terms of user experience. Then you have some allow the tokenization, which give the customers the possibility to save these payment details for later payments. So this is really important if, for example, again, that was a question from the talk before, you are selling subscription services. Then if you have the tokenization, then you can have automatic payments. Then the manual capture is basically what they do on Vinted. So you can book the amount on your customer's account and capture it later. So on Vinted, once the delivery has been done, then and validated by the customer, then the payment is actually made. So this is pretty much similar. Then some allow partial or full refund, and the big winner is Stripe, because it also allows the express checkout, which is the possibility to pay with Google Pay and with Apple Pay. So the checkout is super easy because you don't even have to enter your details. So let's go back here. You also have the possibility here to test super easily without adding any credential your payments in the test database, so that's a good tool too. And all the configurations I talked about are available here. And one last comment about the payment providers is that with the wire transfer, if you enable your customers to pay with the wire transfer, the sale order will not be confirmed in the backend because there is no confirmation that the payment will be made. So in that case, since the quotation is not confirmed, the product is not reserved. So if you have low stock like me, I wouldn't advise you to use that payment method. Okay, so yeah, here I'll mention it really quickly. My delivery, I have to configure delivery. Here I do the installation myself, so it's really simple in my case, but Alicia talked about it in the talk before. And my colleagues will mention it a bit deeper as well. So I'm good with the configurations, with the data. So all the first pillar is now completed. Now let's talk a bit about design. But before, I have a question for you. How much time do you think people spend on the website on average? I will reply for you. 45 seconds, so less than a minute. So definitely not enough for a customer to spend like more than 500 euros on a tent. So what can I do to make the customers stay longer? Well, design is one way to do it. Oops, up. So yeah, web design is a job actually. It's quite complex if you want to do it well. So I've added some training content and some really good examples of website design by our team of designers. So if you want to know more about design, I invite you to scan that QR code, and if you want inspirations of Odoo website, I invite you to scan this one. But what I want you to remember from today are 4 tips that can already improve the quality of your website. So simple navigation, white spaces, animations, and calls to actions. So let's see how we can do that in an Odoo database. Well, to improve the navigation, what you can easily do is limit the number of menu items that you have. Really often we see like a website with a lot of menus. Sometimes we even have a plus here. So that's really not good for the navigation because it's not clear. So via the menu editor here, I can clean the menu items. In my case, I can remove the contact us menu because I have a button already, so it's useless. And the join us is not really linked to my core business, so that kind of link I can just leave them in the footer of my pages, of my website. Then let's go down a bit and compare this is title and text block, and this one. So the main difference, I would say, between the two is that here, all the blocks are really squeezed together. So the content is too squeezed, I don't have space, and it's not really readable. So what I can do, just by adding a bit of space, I can improve already a lot the readability. If I want to increase it even more, I can just here change the width, maybe increase a bit the size, and maybe even to add a bit of contrast, I can underline my title. So just like that, in a few clicks, I have much better content. It's much more readable, and yeah, it's super easy to do. So keep in mind to always keep some white space between the blocks, because by default, sometimes they are too squeezed together. The next one are animations. They are a really good tool to add some dynamism to your website. So if I refresh here, yep, I had some animations on my title, on my button, so it adds a lot of dynamism. If I go back, if I go down, yeah, one block is coming from the left, the other from the right. So that's super easy to do. All I have to do is select the block and then define the effect that I want. I can even define a duration, etc., etc. So animate, do not over-animate, because sometimes you have too much going on. It could be a bit overwhelming, but that's clearly a good tool for the quality of your design. And then finally, the calls to actions. So you have to ask yourself upfront what you want your customers to do. So here, my main call to action leads me to my contact us form. In my case, I don't want my customers to contact me. I want them to buy. I want them to go to my shop. So I can just change the link and redirect to my shop. If I want to make my button even more attractive, I can use the slash image up and add a little icon, the angle that I really like. Up, and there we go. The button is even more attractive. I even more want to click on it. Okay, so that's it about the design. So now we are only missing the last pillar, which is the SEO. So SEO, what is it? It's not really clear what is it for most people. It's even less clear what it does for most people. But what it does basically is that you have to help Google and other search engines to find and understand your website so that he can propose it to the right people. So for instance, if I look for a paddle racket now on Google, I find paddle racket because Google understood the content of the website, and it could propose it to me. So again, what can I do in Odoo to improve my SEO? So yeah, I will start again with redirecting to the talk of Alexandre at 4:30 right here, who will talk about it much deeper than me. But again, what I want you to remember from here are those 4 tips that can already really improve your SEO and make you more findable on Google. So the first one is to keep one heading per page. So here, again, if I go back to my website, I have, here we can see, here we can see that this is a heading 1. If I go down, this is a heading 2. This one as well is heading 2. So my hierarchy is respected on the page, and this is really key to be perceived as consistent by the search engine. Then the page optimization. So we have a tool here that helps you. Oh, no, it's not here. I have to be in debug. No, actually no. I don't have to be in debug. It's here. It's right here. You can optimize the SEO on your page. So here you could give a title for each page. You could give a description. And you can add some keywords that really matter for you on this page. So let's say the word event makes sense to me here. And with this tool, Odoo tells me, okay, the word event is in your heading and it's in your content. So this is just a tool to check if the word that you want to reflect, or if your keywords are in your content. So if I rename my title now, Nomad Events, it appears now as being in my title. So that you have to do it for each page. Then you have to add also some descriptions on the images, because that will help you, that will make you be a reference on Google Image. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is that if a blind person comes to your website with a page reader, he will be able to understand what the image is about. So you can just select an image and add a description here. So if you don't do that, you will be punished in terms of SEO by Google. Let's go with nomadic tank with light, for example. And then finally, the redirection. So this is really important, and we tend to forget that. If you are coming from another website with the same domain, you have to do the redirections. So for that, you have to be in debug. So here, I made an example. Let's say that in your previous website, your shop was called catalog, and now your shop is called /shop. Then you want the people who are visiting your old URL to be redirected directly to the new page. And that allows you to benefit from the SEO that you accumulated in your previous website. Even if the old website was not good, it's still something to do. So yeah, I will show you what it does. If I type catalog, I'm redirected to the shop. So, okay, that's what it is for today. It's not really easy to talk about everything in 20 minutes, but I hope this will help you if you have to create a website in the future, to ask yourself the right question before starting, and to think about all the things that you should take into account when creating a website. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Basile. So we do have, as often, a few questions from the audience here. First one being, would you recommend to use a standard connector apps for Amazon and eBay?
A standard one?
Yeah, well, standard or connectors for Amazon and eBay here.
I know that the Amazon connector was not really mature in the past. But maybe it has improved. I'm not sure, to be honest, so maybe we can talk about that later, or maybe at the booth.
We do have another question here. I think you kind of answered it during your talk here. Is it possible to confirm the sales order from the website without being recorded as the online payment? So for example, I've tried to wire transfer, but the sales order remains in the quotation stage.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I said. It's a little warning about the wire transfer payment. If you pay via that provider, then the quotation is not confirmed because the payment is not guaranteed yet.
Okay, well, thank you for your answer here. Someone is asking, I need my customer to filter products by many different properties, also depending on categories and technical specification, but not a variant products. How can I provide those filters?
Now from the V18, you have the tags that you can add to the product. So for example, if you have a tag like a gluten-free product or some kind of properties like that, you can assign them to the product, and they will be available in the filters as well.
Thank you for your answer here. You show a couple of icons here. Someone is asking if you can add your own vector icons on Odoo?
Yeah, you could add an image, actually. Sometimes it's a clean way to do it, yeah.
And then finally, we have a question regarding payment providers. Someone is asking if we're about to add SurveyPay as a payment provider, or if there's any other future payment providers going to be added to Odoo.
I don't know the roadmap, to be honest. So maybe that's a question. Maybe to the booth, or maybe even a question for support.
Well, thank you very much for answering the question. Thank you, everyone.